Good morning, good Sunday morning, everyone. Welcome to the 12th Montreal Comic Arts Festival. I guess you're here because you're really excited about the subject of the panel, which is cats and comics. And let me introduce your host, the artist and comic book specialist, Kim Hoang, who will be hosting the conversation with three amazing artists. And I'll leave the rest to you. It's presented by La Presse, notre commanditaire, commanditaire.
All right, so I'm going to open my notes. So my name is Kim. Welcome to the festival. We're all here for cats and comics. So just a show of hands quickly. Which one of you own a cat? Or, sorry, is owned by a cat? Okay. So my name is Kim. I'm a comic book artist and specialist. And I work for a store called Crossover Comics. And I also am owned by two cats. And cats also own a dog now, which is great. So let me tell you about our guests today. So we have Alberto Montt, a Latin American illustrator. He has dedicated his career to tell stories full of black humor, criticism, and daily reflections through cartoons and graphic works. He's an author of more than 20 published works, from autobiographical works to children's stories, all with his acid look as his trademark. In 2021, he was invited by the Maison des Auteurs for an artist residency in Angoulême, France, where he has resided ever since. Yes, next we have Iris, graduated from with a bachelor's degree in comics from the University of Quebec in Outaouais. Iris moved to Montreal in 2007. Since then, she has devoted herself mainly to comics illustration and script writing. She has published dozens of books and just as many fanzines. Her books often deal with the same themes: everyday life, urban life, the discomforts of social interactions, friendship, love. These themes are always treated with humor and derision. And lastly, we have Sarah Andersen, who is a cartoonist and illustrator, mostly known for her semi-autobiographical comic strip, Sarah Scribbles. Her series Fangs was nominated for an Eisner Award. She graduated from the Maryland Institute College of Art in 2014 and currently lives in Mexico City. It says Portland, but Mexico City is... previously lived in Portland, now in Mexico City, I found out this morning. Okay. So, these are three preeminent authors of some of your favorite cat comics. And we're here to talk about that. Can you, maybe each one of you, maybe pick a work of yours that has to do with cats and maybe one by one just do a brief intro about what your book is about, your cat book is about.
So I actually have a book called Herding Cats, and so I'm sure all of you know, there's like an expression in English which is like, it's as easy as herding cats, which means it's impossible because cats will not listen. But basically throughout all of my work in my series, Sarah Scribbles, there has been a cat character that is based off of my cat Harley, who at some point she will appear on the screen and you guys will all see. And, I write about day-to-day life, and my cat is a huge part of my daily... There she is! It's so funny because I get so many comments from people who tell me when they meet my cat that she's just like the character. And she really is. Like, she's an amazing creature. All kinds of stuff about her. But yeah, she's an amazing creature, and she's hilarious on her own. I feel like she does most of the work, and I just write what she does, and I'll have like a hit comic because of her.
So yeah, like Sarah, all of my work contains cats, but not as a main character. But I think my most cattish work is a zine called Salopetterie, who's about my cat who passed away, sadly, who was named Salopette. And Salopette in English, I think it's like overalls, like kind of like what you're wearing. And he was my best friend. I had him he had me for like 15 years, and we were like that. And in Salopetterie, I kind of depict my cats as like a human form. Like they stand up and they wear clothes.
They have sweaters.
Yeah,
it's
they have
pretty
sweaters.
great. You'll see also in the slideshow.
And they act like cats, but they look like a person. So that's pretty much what I do with cats in my comics.
Hi. Well, I've never thought about drawing cats, but about 2 years ago or 3 years ago, I was working with my editor from Chile, and he told me that he was going to get a book published about dogs. And I said, no, I hate dogs. I wouldn't buy that book, I said. And he said, what would you buy? And I said, I would buy a book about cats, of course. And he said, okay, do it. And I said, okay, how long do I have? You have 23 or 24 days for making the book. I said, okay, I'll take it. So I started making that book, and that was my first cats book. But by the middle of the book, I found out, because I thought, okay, what can I do? I cannot tell a story about cats. I've been living around cats for all my life, but I don't have a story. So I started drawing whatever I came up with, anything that came to my head, I draw it. But at page 80 or 90, there was nothing more because I was working so hard to get it. So I started cheating. So I called my friends and said, hey, do you want to draw a cat for my book? So half of the book is mine and the other half is my friends drawing cats. But since then, I actually did another book about cats because when it was published, I said, I had more to tell about this. And so that's it. That's my story with books about cats. With cats has always been a story.
Yeah, thank you so much. Yeah. So basically, I read all the work, and between Alberto and Sarah, Alberto and Sarah, sorry, I keep saying Sarah because there's another guest called Sarah. Her name is Sarah. Your work about cats is kind of more straightforwardly, like, about the charms of cats. Like, I think that you depict kind of straight, like you said, you just copy what she does. Your books are kind of like tons of cat facts and like fun sort of ideas about cats. But do you feel like you've managed to include like everything that you wanted to say about cats, like in the spaces, in the pages that you've devoted to cats? Do you feel like you've well represented them, or is there more to say?
I think there's always more to say. Like, cats will always take you by surprise. I'm sure people who have them know that, like, you'll think you figured each other out, and then they'll randomly just, like, have decided that they're gonna do a new thing or have a new spot in the house that's theirs. But there's a lot of, like, for me, sometimes I usually start with a concept before I write the comic. So sometimes I'll even write out, like, I want to write about this. And sometimes I'll have the idea that I want to express, but it will take me sometimes years to find a way for me to turn that into an actual comic. So for me, I'm currently working with this idea of, like, I want to express that my love for my cat is, like, infinite. Like, I'm trying to depict some kind of cosmic idea, but then my cat's love for me is, like, there, like, you know, but I don't know how to turn that into, like, a comic strip. But yeah, I feel like with cats, there's always more. I feel like as long as I'm writing Sarah Scribbles, there will be cat comics.
How about you, Alberto? Do you feel like after you've done, you found you had more after the first book? Did you do you still have more gas in the tank?
It's like Sarah. I mean, if you talk about something that you really love, which is cats for me, there's going to be always something new, and you will find things new in every single cat you meet. And it's strange because for people who don't like cats, it's like, what's that thing there? It doesn't do anything.
It's kind of like a cult almost, right? Like,
kind of.
You kind of know or you don't know.
I've had more problems arguing with people about cats than religion, for example. But so it's a cult, absolutely. And but the thing about cats, it's like I have more like an intellectual approach to cats. It's not like I love them absolutely, which I do, but I really love the way they are. Like intellectually, I mean,
like an obsession.
I can't believe they are like that.
Yeah.
If you have a tiger and it comes to the city and sees the cat, it says, okay, he came out right. If you have a wolf and comes to the city and see a pug or whatever, it would be devastating for the wolf. So for me, having a cat at home, which I don't, because they're animals from the devil, it's amazing. I mean, it's having part of a wild nature still alive in your home, and that for me is crazy.
Yeah, so looping back in, it is because your book is a little different from theirs because because it's really about specific cat. Oh, not that Sarah's isn't, but I feel like Sarah's cats are kind of like the every cat a little bit, but yours are very much like
They have a personality.
they have a personality. It's
Well,
specifically that cat, but
Sarah
like
does.
it's a little less generalized.
Yeah.
So do you feel like you would like to do a book or something? Is there something in the tank for you that would be about more general cats, or do you feel like?
No, I feel that when I want to talk about cats, it's really about specific cats and about their specific personality, like you said. And the funny thing is that some of my books have the word cat in their title, like Occupez-vous des chats, je pars and Le Petit Chat. And they don't really have cats in it. So people sometimes are disappointed. They're like, oh, see, a book about cats. And I'm like, I just let them buy it. And
But
That's
maybe-
amazing. Just the thing, it's amazing. If you love cats, it doesn't matter how many books about cats you have. There will always be a new one that you have to have. It's amazing.
And well, I said that I'm like, but sometimes I feel bad about like false advertising. But the name of my book, Occupez-vous des chats, je pars, is like take care of the cats. I'm leaving. So it says it like the cats are not in the book.
It's about the
Anyway.
person leaving. Yeah, exactly. But anyway, so the unusual charm of cats that can be stretched across all of your books is that we humans seem to have a sort of masochistic, sort of subjugated relationship with them. But that seems to just make us all like them a lot more, right? So how do you explain this dynamic to yourself? Like, what is your main justification for still being obsessed with this creature that doesn't really care about you in the same way? Like you said, your love is infinite, but
For me, it's in part admiration because I admire my cat's ability to set her own boundaries and I really love that she's sort of her own creature and that her affection is kind of earned and it's like a privilege almost. And I think that's really amazing because she's an individual. And I think some pets, it's like we just want them to be really subservient. But I don't know. I love that she's an individual and she's her own cat. I was going to say her own person, but I'm like, but she is a cat.
I would say it's Stockholm syndrome. No, they treat you bad. They don't give a damn about you, and they come to you whenever they want, and then they don't give you attention. So you're always like craving for attention of your cat. And but I also think that that's the way that we should be relating with each other. Usually, I mean, to be with people when we want to be with people, and to leave people with their own personal space whenever they want to be left with that personal space. So.
They pretty much said what I've said too. But yeah, I think cats are. I love all animals and I love dogs too. But I won't have a dog. But I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I'm sorry if there's some dog lovers here. But dogs sometimes look so stupid. They're like like you said, like a wolf would come and be like, oh, why? And cats are just so well. They don't depend that much on us, and I think I like that kind of personality. If it's not really personality, it's like just cats are like that. But yeah, I think I like that. It's a form of intelligence. I think.
they're like role models, and they're also like you aspire to be them, but then you also want to be like their friend, because they're like really good companions if you can manage to earn that affection, right? Yeah.
And I know that dogs aren't stupid. It's just that sometimes they have this look.
The thing is, what I don't really like about dogs is that they're always there for you.
Yeah.
So there's no way for me to understand a living being that's always there for you. It's stupid, but I think I was. It's strange. Okay, I was hurt when I was a child. Okay, I'm trying to take my feelings out with you because but I was.
It's free therapy here, so it's just
it's perfect. We're all friends. We're all friends. We're all part of the same cult. It's all good.
My editor told me, okay, when there's going to be a third book about cats, and no, he told me, okay, we need a book about dogs because there's a lot of people that love dogs, and I said.
Still don't want it.
You should try to do it. And I said, okay, I'm gonna try to do it. And then I came up with this idea of making a book about dogs, but from the perspective of my cat. So I'm working on that now.
Yeah, it's a Venn diagram then. You get a bit of both. You get something, they get something. That sounds good. Okay, so this is a question for Iris and Sarah. So both of you use yourselves as a character when telling your cat stories. So having a human stand-in is partly what makes, I think, your comics so relatable to other cat owners, other cat people. So how do you when things happen with your cats, do you decide purposefully, like you were saying, do you make a note, I'm going to write a story about this, and how do you decide which, cat moments to pick? Because obviously they're in your life forever, for as long as they'll have you. Are you simply sort of trying to relay what occurred and that's like accidentally relatable? Or are you trying to pick out moments that it's like, other people will feel this way?
Yeah, so it's an interesting process because sometimes something will happen and I'm like, this is the joke. Like, this is so ridiculous and it is the joke. Like, there's one that will probably cycle around of my cat, like, squishing her head into a tiny cup as opposed to going to her water bowl, which is the shape made for her and has clean water, and instead she squishes her head in to get, like, a dusty drop of water at the bottom. And there's a comic that will show up on the screen at some point that it's just her doing that. Like, I just watched her do that one day and I was like, this is so absurd and funny, and I'm just going to write it. But at other times, I'll sort of, like, catch myself doing something. Like, there's another one where I'm taking pictures of the cat, and I'll catch myself, and I'll sort of have a thought of, like, there must be, like, 1,000 photos of her in my camera roll. And then I'll sort of start thinking, I'm like, I bet a lot of other cat owners do that, too. And it'll be a bit more of, like, a process of, like, how do I tell this as a story? Mm-hmm. And yeah, it'll appear up there. But it's definitely like, sometimes I'll have a moment and I'm like, that's the comic. You're so ridiculous that like, this is the comic. And other times I'll be like, I feel like there's something relatable here and I need to kind of think it through. Mm. So it's sort of a mixture for me. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
How did you select which Salopette stories to include?
I don't really know. It was just when he does something funny. And, when I started to draw comics about Salopette, and I talk a lot about Salopette, but I had also Blouson and Bottine, and now I have Maurice, who is like
what kind of sweater does he wear?
He wants to destroy everything. And I realized that now, because when I started doing comics about Salopette and my other cats, internet was existing, but there was no Instagram, no Facebook, and I think now that we have this social media, I don't draw as much as cat comics because I post a lot of pictures and videos about my cats, so I'm just like, oh, I don't have to draw this. It's just, here, look.
Yeah, you can see for yourselves. But no one will know which sweater, you still have to, I hope you still include a drawing from time to time so we know what sweaters they're wearing.
No, I haven't drawn Maurice, my actual cat, with any clothes on. So he's just drawn as a cat. That's Blouson, but he passed away too, so I'm sorry. And but because he's still young, but I'm still thinking about what would he wear. I think he would be kind of a nice douchebag, like
a himbo.
Kind of a himbo,
right?
I think. Because he's handsome too. And
there you go.
Stupid,
Yeah. Well, it's just he's still young, so the jury's still out as to whether he's strong, right? It's like strong, handsome.
Oh, he's
dumb.
Strong.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, it's like
he's got it.
Muscular.
He's a himbo.
Yeah, he's a himbo, and he has a really small head. So he's a himbo. That's it.
Perfect. Absolutely perfect. Yeah. So, Alberto, you use less of yourself in your books about your cats, but you did, I noticed, have. So you generally kind of talk more a little generally about cats, including their sort of God-given powers and their extraterrestrial origins, which is something you learned from an aunt or something that you mentioned in the book?
Yeah, I have like 12 aunts, and
they
they
all
all
love
were
cats.
crazy about cats. And my dad was a dog person, so he never allowed us to have cats. I mean, eventually he did, but he never allowed us. So I was always amazed by stories my aunts used to tell me. And one of those aunts was very crazy. And she really thought that cats came from Mars and they were like a superior race. And she's now better. She takes pills and she's been doing a lot better, in case you were wondering. And so, yes, for me, it's more like... as I told you, cats are amazing creatures. Just the thing... This thing that I love about cats is that they know exactly who's allergic.
Yeah.
And I love that. It's like being able to know who hates you and go there and mess with their heads, and I love that.
Yeah, so let's talk. I'm just going to give everyone a chance to talk about the cats, and we've heard a little bit about, sorry, what was his name again?
Maurice.
Maurice?
Yeah.
Yeah, we know about Sarah's cat.
Harley.
Yeah. And you have a cat as well? So do you want to...
No,
not
I don't
not
have.
at this moment. Okay.
Not this moment, because I travel a lot. So for me, it would be very painful to leave it with babysitters, cat sitters.
Yeah. I always obsess, like whoever's watching my cat, I'm like, send me pictures every day. Yeah. I need to know how they're doing. Yeah. So, do you want to, I mean, we kind of talked about them a little. This was kind of a bonus question because I was like, I'm sure every cat parent loves to talk about their cat. So maybe we keep it to one recent anecdote maybe about your cat. What's a good way to talk about your cat experiences?
Well,
Something that's
I can
unique.
go about Maurice. Like he just destroys everything. That it's
on purpose. On purpose.
Yeah.
He just is like, let me test.
Like
this little slap.
I can't have plants that are at like not suspended. Yeah. And
does he jump on them?
Yeah.
Is suspended? Oh my
he
God.
jumps everywhere. He's
Wow.
So it's gonna come up sometime, but I have like a drawing of me who's taking a break and going to skating this winter, and you see like Maurice with a flamethrower in my apartment because every time I leave him alone, he breaks something, and but I love him, but he's very different from the other cats that I had that were more, I don't know, calm. He's just...
Or anxious.
Yeah,
I think Salopette is very anxious, right?
True, yeah.
Yeah, my cat, I feel like every cat has like one thing that they do that's like problematic. And my cat, like in her past life, she must have been a vegetarian because she loves eating plants, which would be fine if my boyfriend weren't like an obsessive plant person. So like I'm sure there's some people like this in the audience, but he keeps plants like everywhere in the apartment. And when we brought my cat in, she was like, hell yeah. and so I went through and I checked if any of them were toxic. Like it was a whole like week of preparation, and then I sprayed like the ones that I thought she might nibble at with vinegar, and I put cayenne pepper. And I'll watch her go up to them because I know she's like, I want to eat that plant. And she goes and she takes a bite and she does that like, you know, when cats like do that, but then she keeps eating, and I'm like, girl, please stop. So
She's like, I'm gonna power through it. I'm gonna get it this time.
Yeah. So it's at a point where it's not a huge issue, but I'll catch her every once in a while. But yeah, that is her quirk. She's like a plant lover for some reason. But otherwise, she's very well behaved. Like I can put her in the carrier, and she doesn't destroy stuff. She's a very sweet cat. She just loves plants.
My experience is that if you have two cats, one is like a good cat and one is like a weird cat. Yeah. My good cat unfortunately doesn't have many teeth left, and when she goes for the plants, rather than biting them, she actually just like gums them and then breaks all of the like leaves and stuff. But she's the good one. Do you have any pet peeves about? Is there something that angers you about?
No, not really. But recently, I was traveling from Angoulême, where I live. It's a small town in the south of France, and I was going to Paris by train. And this is amazing because I was sitting beside a guy who had a cat in a kind of a bubble backpack. It was amazing. And I asked him about the cat, and we started talking. And the cat name is Alf. But then I noticed that the guy didn't have half of his finger.
Oh yeah, his pinky finger.
His pinky finger, and I was curious because morbo. And then I asked him, "Okay, what happened to your
finger?"
Your finger?" And he said, "It's inside the cat." I said, "What?" And I thought the cat ate it. No, that it was he was cutting some wood with an electric
saw.
And he cut his finger, and the cat ran and took the finger and ate it. And he just left him. I was like, okay, I don't care. I wouldn't hurt you for recovering my pinky. That's the most amazing story about love to the cat and communion. Because it's like, I don't know, if you go to church, you have the body of Christ. And something. The cat had the body of his owner.
Yeah.
Or vice versa.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, then I'm going to find another seat. Thank you. That's awful.
Yeah. Wow.
Don't laugh. The guy was very, very hurt.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
All right.
You're speechless.
So I don't.
Okay, if you have any questions.
So let's.
Moving on.
Yeah, moving on. Let's talk about drawing. Drawing a little bit. Yeah, because you talked a lot about sort of writing. So Alberto, you have explicitly mentioned in your comic that you greatly enjoy drawing cat mustaches. Is this correct?
Yeah.
The whiskers, sorry.
Yeah.
And Iris, as we mentioned, you portray cats in a really unique way with the sweaters. It's like honestly the only time I've ever seen that, and I love it. Like the sweater, just them being little people is really funny to me. Can you talk a little bit about your drawing choices and what's like fun or maybe even difficult about portraying, like drawing and representing cats in drawing? Yeah. Whoever.
Well,
all of you. Doesn't matter. Talk to each other. It's great.
About the clothes, like I said, I'm still thinking about how Maurice would dress, but it's always funny to think about what my cat would wear if he were a person.
If they made the choice themselves,
yeah, because
right?
in some of my comics, one of the cats, Blouson, is like, why am I wearing this? This is not cool. Like if he was a child and I was dressing him. And I think I think about it the same way I think about human character. Like when I draw a character, I'm thinking about, how would this person dress? Like I think it's important in comics that's Maurice, by the way. It's important that not all your characters are dressed the same, and it's not just like jeans and t-shirt. Some like you're all dressed different ways, so it's important. Yeah,
It shows your personality.
yeah, exactly.
For me, I have a black cat, so I feel like that's the easiest to draw because you can just draw any shape and then add 2 eyes, and it looks like a cat. But I don't know, it's super fun. I think drawing the cat characters are my favorite because they're a little bit more like amorphous than a human character.
They're
Like,
kind of liquid, right?
they're liquid, right? It's like they take so many different shapes, and there she is. I don't know. It's really fun and easy because you can kind of distort them in ways that human characters can't really do. And yeah, definitely my favorite part of drawing Sarah Scribbles is the cats.
Yeah, for me, it's almost like Sarah's story. I hate drawing, which is not a very good thing for
I understand.
illustrators.
I think anybody who's an artist understands that sentiment. Anybody, especially who draws for money, is like, I hate drawing.
And especially comics because it's so
absolutely.
long.
No,
like-
To draw.
for me, cats are like, it's perfect. It's like a bubble with eyes and whiskers, and that's it. And everybody will understand. So it's the same. It's not working. What I really love about cats.
So you heard it here. If you hate drawing, draw cats. Yeah,
That's it.
that's it. Yeah. So here's the part where I told you to prepare. I'm gonna say. So, are there other cat comics, cat stories, other things that, even if it's wildly different from what you've put out into the catosphere, what are there other like media, cat medias you would like everybody else to know about? Share your whether they've influenced you or if it's like so different and you're just like, I've never seen this before. It was so great.
Yeah, I have 2, and one is like a little bit of a cop-out because I feel like Calvin and Hobbes. Hobbes is technically a tiger, but I feel like for me, it really influenced how I write about my cat because there's such a bond between the two, and you understand who each character is because of the way they kind of bounce off of each other. And I just love that. Like, that's such an authentic connection that people have with their pets or their stuffed animals. So that's my first answer. And then also, I'm sure many people have seen it, but the YouTube shorts, Simon's Cat. Yeah.
Those are Quebecois. They're from here.
are?
Yeah,
I didn't know
think
that.
so. Wait, maybe not. Please don't quote me on that. Kim thinks it's from Quebec. It might not be. But they are definitely very well viewed at Fantasia. If you're ever at that festival, people love that cat there.
Okay, I didn't know that. But yeah, the one with the curtains where he's just destroying the curtains, like just perfection.
And now he has a little kitten, too. It's not just the main cat. There's like a second little kitten cat. Anyway, it's fine. Watch YouTube, guys.
So my suggestion, no, that's good. Yeah, is also a bande dessinée, a comic. So it's called Sugar. It's super beautiful. It's from I don't know how to pronounce it, but Serge Bacon. I think it's like a from Belgium, like
Okay.
a name. Well, anyway, and it's in French it's Sugar, ma vie de chat, and it's about all the cats he had in his life, and I cried when I read it. It's like it's so touching. It's beautiful, but it's also super sad because some of their cats, like, they had them for maybe like 3 weeks and they passed or they disappeared. And so you have like very sad stories, but very beautiful stories. And the way he draws cats is just amazing. Like it's like they're alive in the book. So I really, really recommend this book. I think it exists in English too. Maybe it's originally in English. I'm not sure, but in French it's at Dargaud publisher, and yeah, so the title is Sugar.
Sugar. Okay, we'll check it out. Looks really great. The cover looks great.
It's amazing. It always amazes me. My girlfriend, for example, she also loves cats, and she can't help but crying whenever she sees one of those posters of missing cats. So I'm going to make a compilation of posters of missing cats to make everybody cry. It's my next book. Like, okay, you want to have the saddest book of all? Here's the book. I don't know. I think, of course, Calvin and Hobbes and I don't know, Crazy Cat, and you have a lot of cats. But I would recommend not to read Garfield.
Oh.
That's my recommendation.
Yeah, that's not cat.
No.
That's not great cat representation.
No, it's an awful representation, and it gives the arguments to dog people. You know, that's the thing I hate. Oh, cats are they don't eat lasagna, you asshole.
Justice for Odie. He did nothing wrong.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Aw. So that's Can you tell us a little bit maybe about what you're working on next? And if there will be cats. Or not cats, but catfish titles about cats.
So I'm working on the 5th Sarah Scribbles book. I think it'll be the last book. Like, I'll probably continue the series, but just online. And I'm doing kind of I'm doing a collection as I usually do, but it's also going to be a little bit of like a reflection on my career. So I'll be writing about certain comics because I've been doing Sarah Scribbles for over a decade, which is like, I'm old. So I'm working on that, and there actually is a section all about Harley and there's going to be photos of her and how much she's influenced my work. So that'll be coming out next year, and I'm finishing it. So please give me like prayers to not procrastinate. And then after that, I'm going to start a collaboration with two webcomic creators. They write a series called War and Peas, and we're going to write a comic called Life of Death about the Grim Reaper. And I think this character actually will have a cat. We're planning on.
Nice.
So
of course he would.
Yeah, he would.
Yeah.
Yeah, so cats will always be part of my work.
So I would like to make an extended version of my comic Salopetterie and include Maurice. So that's my plans for the future. And we talked about how it's hard to draw. Well, we sometimes are tired to draw, so I'm really tired to draw right now. And I think I have to take a break so I don't really get, like, I don't really
burn
want
out.
to burn
Yeah,
out about
for sure.
drawing. Yeah,
Definitely.
So I'm kind of taking a break of drawing comics for a
that's
bit,
great.
and I'm just gonna write. I'm trying to write my first novel, so I don't know if there's gonna be a cat in it, but I'm pretty sure they will.
Yeah.
It will.
And I think whenever you are ready to return to drawing, you'll be able to draw the most exciting thing you can possibly draw, which is cats.
Thank you. Yeah, I'm sure I won't. I'm sure I'll come back to drawing comics because it's. Do you say medium in English?
Yeah.
It's like medium. My medium.
Yeah,
So I can't
definitely.
really
Can't let go of
let
it.
go of it exactly. But I
it's
need a break.
fine to take a break.
Yeah.
It's better, and we know we're gonna get more comics that way. And even if we don't, that's fine. Yeah.
That's very empathic.
Yeah. Look, I don't know.
Well, I'm making this book about dogs from the perspective of my cat, but I'm also finishing a book about Mexico. It's called Mexico, the work of art of the devil, and it's
So cats work?
no, there's jaguars in it, so kind of. So they asked me to do this like Alberto Montt's perspective about Mexico, and I'm finishing it. And I hope they let me get it to Mexico again after that.
Well, you're doing it from the safety of France for now, right?
Yeah, but there's Mexicans all over the world. So you turn a corner and there's a Mexican.
True.
Hey, man. There's a Mexican. God damn it.
All right. So that's all I've got for questions, more or less. So I'm going to open it up to the audience. Don't know how much time we have left. Maybe a volunteer will flash some fingers at me to let me know how much time we have for questions. It's
Can
fine. They will
I
tell
say
us.
one thing really
Yeah,
quickly?
sure.
So I'm doing a signing like right after this, immediately after at the Drawn and Quarterly.
Drawn on
booth.
Quarterly. Yeah, I actually have all of that info. I will remind,
Oh, okay, perfect.
right before the end, I will remind everyone when their brains are still fresh where to go so they can just be like, that's where I'm going, D25 or whatever. Yeah, okay. I've got all that info. I've got it. Don't worry. Well, we'll take the questions. There's a microphone up here for guests or for question askers. Everyone's shy, so whoever stands up first gets to ask the first question.
The person with glasses. What's your question? They all have glasses.
I mean, you can also tell us about your cat. I'm sure we would all love to hear about it. Oh, and also, like, if you need to ask your question in another language, Spanish or French is on the table, and we can always translate for you. Maybe try to speak close. Turn it on. Is there a button? Okay, yay.
Okay. Hello. Okay. I just want to know if you have a decisive moment when you were like you become a cat lover and not a dog person or any other type of animal. Just when did you fall in love with cats?
I was not a cat person. I know it's shocking until I babysat my mom's kitten. She had to go away somewhere, and I watched the kitten for like I think 2 weeks, and it literally changed my entire brain structure. Like it was just such a fun experience, and and that cat is still around. I see her whenever I visit my mom, and I don't know. I was just so amazed by how sweet and funny and smart they are, and I think maybe if you haven't had a cat, there's like kind of a stereotype that they're like mean or standoffish. Which they can be, but yeah, that experience really like changed my life. And after that, I was like, I'm getting my own cat, and then I got Harley. So
I just always loved cats. I don't remember when it started, but I love.
You were born with it?
kind of, yeah.
And I was born surrounded by cats, so I don't really know when I fell in love with them. What I know is that at a certain point, I realized that I was in love with them. It was like, like when you have a friend in school, and I know you call him 16 years
there.
later. Do you remember when I told you something like that with cats?
Thank you.
Can I suggest that when people ask a question, they say their cat's name if they have one? Because I'm obsessed with how people, cat names.
Yeah, cat names are great.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I don't have one, but I really love them, and unfortunately, I'm allergic. So when
So you live
you can
it.
always have those Sphinx cats that look like the devil.
Yeah, they're like, she's the one, that one right there. Yeah.
That's the only cat that I don't want to pet. Have you seen one of those? They say, "Oh, a cat." It's
I just want to push them in my face. Oh my god, you're so cute, and I can't. It's like,
Yeah. For the record, my cat's names are Figaro. We call her Fig, and Shortcut. Oh, wow. I didn't name Shortcut, but it's a great name, so we kept it.
Figaro is a very cattish name.
Yeah, it's a very classic cat name. Fig.
I have an Argentinian friend who draws a cat and a little girl. His name is Liniers. And Liniers. It's a fancy. He's got a cat and his name is Feline, which I really love as a name. I hate the comic. I mean, the girl is so intellectual, but the cat is nice. But the name of the cat is amazing. Feline.
Okay, next question. I saw someone getting up earlier. Oh no, maybe that was... Anybody? Yes, please step up to the mic. It's been turned on.
He brings us food.
Yes, here. No, mi pregunta era un poco para los tres. My question is for three people. What about your friend cats? And my question specifically was for you about Feline. What the cat of your friend?
He doesn't have a cat. He hates cats, but he loves drawing them. That's a secret. He hates cats. He loves dogs, but he knew that cats would sell. Liniers is awful. He's always so tender, and don't believe it. He wants to conquer the world. That's it.
Thank you. And my last question is about, is the cats your alter ego? It's kind of alter ego. If you drawing the cats, it's kind of alter ego. Thank you.
I'm sorry, I didn't.
If it's your alter ego,
Yeah, if
draw a
you-
cat, do you feel some part of the cat?
Maybe it's like if you drew yourself as a cat, what kind of cat would you be?
Oh, I feel like I would be my cat. Like I'm in my delusion. I'm like, I believe that me and my cat are like soulmates.
So connected.
Yeah,
you'd
and that
only
like we
see-
were meant to be together or whatever. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, I feel that connected to her. It's like a little bit crazy, but I like a pretty little black cat that's like a little bit loony. Like I feel like that would be me.
Do you know about toxoplasmosis?
I do.
But have you heard a theory that toxoplasmosis is a way of cats of controlling minds?
Yeah.
It's amazing.
I'm fully infected.
Yeah.
That's it. It's amazing. It's like
It's
Cordyceps
from all just
from
like
cats.
huffing their fur, right? Like when you're just like, okay. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It is. What sweater would you just wear this and
Yeah, I
have a
think
cat
I-
head?
Yeah, pretty much. But I think I would be like an anxious cat who hides when there's people over, and I would pretty much sleep all the time and eat. And I don't think I would go outside. I would be an indoor cat. Indoors.
Yeah.
Cat,
Indoors is the way to go.
yeah.
And Alberto, what kind of cat do you think you would be?
I would be one of those cats who don't hunt. You know, have you seen those cats that come always with gifts for you and say,
Yeah,
"Why would
no.
you chew on that mouse? It's awful." No, I would be like Garfield.
But don't read Garfield.
Don't read it.
Any other questions from the audience? Yeah.
There's one.
Hello. Oh my goodness. Okay. So my cats are named Bubu and Me, like Do Re Mi. And Bubu looks a lot like Sarah, your cat. And he also really loves vegetation as well. I don't know if it's a black cat thing, but we have like these plexiglass barriers, so like he can't get at the plants. But anyway, I was curious about like any challenges that you encounter as you create comics and maybe like how you overcome them. Yeah. So.
I think for me, I worry about repetition and just writing the same joke over and over. Like I worry with the cat comics, I worry that people are going to see it and be like, oh, it's another cat comic. So I really challenge myself to use elements that are kind of unconventional or punchlines that are unconventional. And that's why like a few years ago, I started working more with like, I don't know how familiar the audience is with my work, but I started writing about cryptids and vampires and like biblically accurate angels because I really love relatable humor, but I felt like for me, it's gotten a bit ubiquitous, and I feel like I constantly have to challenge myself to come up with something a bit more unexpected because in like 2011 when I started, webcomics, they were definitely around, but they weren't like everywhere. And now I feel like there are so many amazing and talented webcomic artists that it's a little bit, you have to think a little bit more outside of the box to compete. And so that's my biggest challenge. Yeah.
Right now, my biggest challenge is drawing. Like I said, I'm very tired
Burnout,
of drawing.
it's really hard.
And like, I have this idea, and I'm like, oh yeah, I'm gonna draw this comic, and I'm excited. And when I start doing it, I'm like, ah, so long. And when it's done, I'm like, yay! So it's the process of making it that's a struggle for me. But I just think I'm burned out about doing comics, but that's pretty much the struggle because I have so much ideas. I have tons of ideas, but I only have that much time to create like the comics. So yeah, we need more time.
Yeah.
More than 24 hours in a day.
For me, I draw for myself always. It's like I have the need to ordenar. How do you say that? To order ideas, to put them together.
Organize
ideas.
ideas.
And I do that by drawing. And for example, now I have this character that's called Anxiety, which is a way for me to express the way I feel and the things that como que me enfrento día a día, that I challenge every day. But for me was, as I told you, I did it for me, and it was amazing when I started receiving comments from people telling me that, oh, I thought that I was the only person who felt this way. Oh, I thought this was only happening to me. And that's why I always think that if you write for yourself, you will always be able to connect, even though that's not my goal. I don't care if I connect or not. You know what I mean? I do want to draw for myself to organize ideas and to organize feelings and to spend less in psychiatrists. That's it.
Thank you. Okay, so we one last question. I think we have
Two last questions.
maybe we'll see.
Hi, my name, you don't care
Your
about
name
my
is
name?
fine. No, we do care about it. It's okay.
My
Yes, we
cat's
do.
name is Clancy. He's an orange tabby. He's very needy, very neurotic. He's kind of got a sad background, rescue story too, which I think contributes to that. He's not exactly your standoffish cat. He really wants all the attention. I guess what I want to know is more advice. My cat wakes me up a lot. He needs me to look at him while he eats. It's a problem. I've started lately, repelling him with tea tree oil because he really hates the smell, but it hurts his feelings. And then he's more in love with my boyfriend than me, and it's not good. Does anyone have advice of what you do to stop your cat from waking you up multiple times a night, or maybe even just stories about that?
Get another cat. No. That's no, I don't have any idea. No, I would be in the same problem.
Yeah, cats are so stubborn, that they will just, getting them to stop doing something is basically impossible. So I would offer practicing radical acceptance with your cat. Like my cat, if she doesn't get a certain amount of food, she'll just scream, and she will not stop, and she will just follow me around screaming. So eventually I was like, okay, I accept, and I just keep her food bowl always a little bit, there's always, I'd never let it get empty, and that was our way of coping, where I had to give in to her. So I think you have to find a way to let your cat get what he wants.
I've taken that to the extreme. I used to sleep with the food next to my pillow.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry.
The thing is that you're asking the wrong group of people, because we always tend to give to the cat.
What's wrong with that?
Oh, he wants you to keep the food so nice.
But can I suggest that you get one or two other cats? Maybe that will be a good idea, or maybe three.
I'd love to. Yeah. Not a
Get
solution
another
in this case,
boyfriend.
but that's a good idea.
Get rid of your boyfriend if you really prefer.
The cartoonist told me to do it.
I think maybe you can take him to the vet, because I know they have anti-anxieties for cats.
CBD
and,
is a whole thing for cats right now. That's
Maybe
trendy. Yeah,
we need
so
drugs.
CBD for cats.
Thank
Cocaine.
you.
Cocaine is great.
Good luck.
If you go to Colombia, live in Mexico, Mexico's in the house.
Okay, actual last question. Please.
Hi,
go.
my name is Julia. I'm from Venezuela. I'm a cat lover also. My cat's name is Atenea. And my question is
just what would be the thing that you love the most about cats? In my case, the paws and parade.
You mean like physically?
Yeah.
Yes. Or even the
that-
personality.
The smell of the paws. I mean, when they're babies, kittens, and you smell the paws, it's amazing. But the whiskers, I love the whiskers. So I cut them and I make rings out of them. It's a joke.
I like to keep.
But I'm
my
selling
cat's
those there in
whiskers.
the booth 100.
Oh, I like to keep my cat's whiskers when they fall off, and my partner finds it absolutely disgusting because it's like finding like a fingernail or something, and I'm like, I love it, and he's like, get rid
That's
of
because,
it.
for example, human hair. Okay, you love it, you caress it, and if it falls down, you don't touch it. Why would you touch a whisker?
But they're rare, so it's like you get a rare item. That's like.
They all say, yeah. It's amazing. I know. Oh, yeah. It's a rare item.
I like my cat's tummy because she's kind of like chonky, and then she always sleeps on her back. But it's forbidden. Like, I'm not allowed to touch her stomach, so I'll just like hover above her and be like, But definitely, she looks like when she stands on her hind legs or is sleeping on her back, she looks like a little Totoro. Like she's kind of a chubby little cat, and I love it.
I think I really love their beans, their little toe paws, paw pads. Yeah, and Maurice has this like kind of a mohawk here, like his chest. He has
It's like when their hair meets, right? Yeah.
And it's so cute.
Thank you.
Yeah. Thank you. All right, so this is the end of the panel. Thank you all for attending. It's early in the day, so have a great festival. If you would like to find these authors, Alberto is signing at Ça et Là at 12:30 at B11. Okay, so that's a little farther away. 12:30. Iris is signing at Pow Pow from 12:30. Pow Pow Presse is at A10. And at Bayard at D28 at 2:30. And Sarah is signing at D&Q at D25 at 11:45, pretty much right after this, so you can all follow Sarah out.
So, and I'm going to Mexico this evening, so if you want to send something to the family, I will be happy to.
All right, thank you very much to our guests.
Thank you.